everyone, and welcome to Nomad Programming. Today's video will be a simple explanation of what is software development. It is a vast subject, but I will try to keep it simple as I can. One would ask, what is the main purpose of software development and why would I learn about it? Well, it helps us to create and meet unique businesses or personal objectives, tasks, goals, or processes by addressing problems and improving communication, to enable us to store large data and to make our lives more convenient. Software development creates breakthroughs and drives growth in nearly every industry. It plays a major role in the economy and results in a higher level of education, greater employment opportunities, and higher income levels. Also, most of the data today is driven by software, which leads us to what's called data-driven development, which is a software engineering approach that relies on data to guide the development process. It involves selecting and monitoring metrics or key performance indicators, KPIs for short, which will help you to better understand your product so you can make continuous improvements. Software development gave us the power to share services, resources, storage, databases, networks, and intelligence over the internet. That technology is called cloud computing, which I will be explaining in another video. So what is the definition of the word software? Software is a set of computer programs associated with documentation and data. This is in contrast to hardware, from which the system is built and which it performs the work. Data is a sequence of one or more symbols, and it is presented in the form of the binary system, bits of ones and zeros, which is the digital representation of data. A computer program is a sequence or set of instructions in a programming language for a computer to execute. Software documentation is written text or illustration that accompanies computer software or is embedded in the source code. The documentation either explains how the software operates or how to use it, and may mean different things to people in different roles. Documentation is an important part of software engineering, and these are the types of documentation: requirements, statements that identify a system's attributes, capabilities, characteristics, or qualities. This is the foundation for what will be or has been implemented. Architecture or design. Overview of software includes relations to an environment and construction principles to be used in the design of software components. Technical. Documentation of code, algorithms, interfaces, and APIs. End user. Manuals for the end user, system administrators, and support staff. Marketing. How to market the product and analysis of the market demand. We have seen in general what software means, but now we will learn its types and definitions in detail. First, we have application software, or app for short. It is a computer program that was created to perform a specific task or operation, other than operations related to the computer system that is running the app. An application can manipulate text, numbers, audio, graphics, and a combination of these elements. Some application packages focus on a single task such as word processing. Others, called integrated software, include several applications such as Microsoft Office. System software is a program designed to run a computer's hardware and applications and manage its resources, such as its memory, processors, and devices. It also provides a platform for running application software, and it includes the following: operating systems. Operating systems are essential collections of software that manage resources and provide common services for other software that runs on top of them, like supervisory programs, bootloaders, shells, and Windows systems, which all are core parts of operating systems. An operating system comes bundled with additional software, including application software, so that a user can potentially do some work with a computer that only has one operating system. Operating systems such as Apple Mac OS, Microsoft Windows, Google's Android OS, Linux operating system, and Apple iOS. Device drivers operate or control a particular type of device that is attached to a computer. Each device needs at least one corresponding device driver, because a computer typically has at minimum at least one input device and at least one output device. A computer typically needs more than one device driver. Utilities. Utilities are computer programs designed to assist users in the maintenance and care of the computers. Malicious software or malware is software that is developed to harm or disrupt computers. Malware is closely associated with computer-related crimes. Software development is the process of specifying, designing, programming, documenting, testing, and bug fixing, involved in creating and maintaining applications, frameworks, or other software components. Software development involves writing and maintaining the source code, but in a broader sense, it includes all processes from the creation of the desired software through to the final manifestation of the software, typically in a planned and structured process. Software development also includes research, new development, prototyping, modification, reuse, re-engineering, maintenance, or any other activities that result in software products. What is product development lifecycle? The product development lifecycle is the complete process of creating and bringing a new product into the market. It includes the following 5 steps. Product conceptualization. You need to have an idea first to create your product. You either conceptualize a new idea from out of the box or add another feature for an existing product. Many of the leading tech companies have innovation departments that focus solely on the task of coming up with the next big thing. Once the idea is selected, significant time is spent on market research, functional analysis, technical analysis, feasibility analysis, ROI, and prototype development. Product architecture and design. The next phase is to design the technical architecture of the product. In this phase, the business team provides the business specification to technical teams, who then build the architecture of the product, create workflow diagrams, and database design. Product development. In this phase, development teams start developing the product. They may use waterfall or agile methodologies, which I will be explaining them later in the video. Today, the companies are using the agile development methodology to make the product development process faster. In this phase, teams develop and perform unit tests, integration tests, performance tests, and any other testing types depending on the product type. Once this phase is completed, the team creates an alpha release, which may be mostly internal and limited to a few external users. Product release. Once the team is confident about the functionality, usability, and stability of the product based on the alpha release and receives feedback, the team moves towards the beta release phase. In the beta release, companies may choose to open it to all the customers or choose to provide access to a limited number of customers who request beta access. In this phase, the team wants to get feedback from external customers and make any changes accordingly. Once the team is satisfied with the beta feedback and necessary changes are made to the product, a public release of the product takes place. Public release involves broad announcements and so forth to create an impact depending on the product. Product realization and future upgrades. The next phase is continuous monitoring of the product, its usage and growth, along with future enhancements. Teams also need to prioritize the bug fixes based on the customer feedback. What is software development lifecycle? The software development lifecycle is defined as a systematic approach used by the software industry to design, develop, and test high-quality software. The main goal behind software development lifecycle is to produce high-quality software that meets or exceeds customer expectations and reaches completion within times and cost estimates. Software development lifecycle consists of the following activities. Planning. The most crucial aspect of software development and requirement analysis is done by the most skilled and experienced software engineers in the organization. After gathering and analyzing requirements from the client, the scope document is generated. Implementation. Here the software engineers start writing the code based on what they gathered as requirements and they planned in the previous phase. Testing. It is a crucial stage that aims to discover any errors, bugs, or flaws in the software. Documentation. Each activity performed in the project is documented for future reference and enhancement in the development process. Deployment. The software is deployed once it is approved for release. Maintaining. The phase occurs once the product is operational. It involves the modification of a few features over some time. This phase also focuses on monitoring the system performance, bug rectification, and implementing requested changes. Software development methodologies. Usually there are two types of software development methodologies: waterfall model and the agile model. What is the waterfall model? A waterfall model represents a linear and sequential approach to software development. The following steps are carried out sequentially in a waterfall approach. Requirements: gather, analyze, and document. Design, resulting in the software architecture. Code, the development, proving, and integration of software. Testing, the systematic discovery and debugging of defects. Operations, the installation, support, and maintenance of complete systems. In an actual waterfall implementation, each of the above steps represents a different stage of software development, and every stage generally terminates before the next stage begins. For example, the designing phase have to be completed and approved by clients before it starts to be implemented, which means that the waterfall method has disadvantages regarding returning back on a certain phase and difficulties to make changes changes. Also, there is a certain phase where errors can be fixed. Rather than fixing it during the product lifecycle, that will help in reducing wasted time. Although this method is well documented, but it is not a great approach when it comes to complicated applications and have many functions. What is the agile model? Agile methodology evolved from different lightweight software approaches in the 1990s and is a response to some project manager dislike of the rigid linear waterfall methodology. It focuses on flexibility, continuous improvement, and speed. The agile methodology follows an incremental approach. Developers start with the simplistic project designs and then begin to work on small modules. The work on these modules is carried out in weekly or monthly sprints, and at the end of each sprint, project priorities are evaluated and tests are executed. Thus, the equivalent stages of the waterfall model are completed at every single sprint. These sprints allow for exploring bugs and customer feedback to be incorporated into the design before the next sprint begins. That said, the process must be well managed and documentation enforced, as the rapid pace of development can lend itself to disorganization. However, if done correctly, it results in a fast, low-risk, and efficient workflow. Most companies now use agile methodology. Most of the customers you speak with talk in terms of agile processes, unless they specifically mention that they are not agile. Though no companies truly follow complete agile methods, they might be using some hybrid model. Other methodologies, capability maturity model, assess the proficiency of software development process. It tracks progress from ad hoc actions to defined steps to measure results and optimize processes. DevOps, a combination of development and operations, is an agile-based approach that brings software development and IT operations together in the design, development, deployment, and support of software. Rapid application development is a non-linear approach that condenses design and code construction into one interconnected step. Scaled Agile Framework provides a way to scale Agile methodology to a larger software development team or organization. We have reached the end of today's video. I hope the information was useful. Thank you all for watching and stay tuned for the next video.